Alright. It went live on YouTube. That's always the one that I'm like, not sure if it's gonna work or not. Hello. So I've got a second map going where I'm specifically looking for a small amount of things, but one of them is actually going to be kind of a while because exploring the ocean is not fast. Having said that, when I fill up on my inventory, I also come back here because I throw nothing away. Well, not nothing. I throw some things away. No. We don't need you at all. I'm gonna need to add a box somewhere for this, wait, hold on. For the, meadow wall. My box of double boxes. I don't think I need... Our home is very, very spread out right now. I don't know if I'm going to keep it this way, but it is what it is for now. I should explain this before I move on, so I can highlight it, because there's definitely some people that don't seem to get it when I explain it to them. Oh right, I'm maxed out on those, so I'm not... Like, I don't need that shit at all. Okay. We have a lot of coins. Like, holy shit, we have a lot of coins. Okay, let's... Wait, the eggs. I'm quite hungry. I forgot to put the marbled meat away. We've got valuables, which, by the way, I've pretty much never sold a valuable ever. I'm pretty sure that that's all they are meant for. Wait, is there, like... Hold on. Meh. For now, we're just putting meadow walls here because I don't have the infrastructure set up to add another arrangement at the moment. Oh, whoops, I'm going right past it. So, for anyone who hasn't dabbled all that much in, like, automation, this is my great machine. So, there's a whole lot of grabby arms and a huge network. You can see the double lines with the gray in the middle. These are all conveyor belts that lead to, like, different deposits, and the reason that most of them are actually, like, these are all, that's an octarine deposit, that's an octarine deposit. Some of these go out ludicrously far, like the ones out here in the desert, with a whole lot of galaxite. Anyways, so it's worth noting I've got 4 galaxite furnaces, so I think they're called Fury furnaces. I've got 4 of them are capped, and they're all working right now. I've got 3 more that aren't working yet. This is a 4x4 grid of the advanced smelters and a 4x4 of the more basic smelters. This is definitely overkill, but I want it to be overkill because that way it never falls behind the income. And then at the outside wall, I've got the wall of turrets, obviously, and another arm. This is to prevent enemies from getting in. As the electronics here are essentially acting as another wall. Great timing. Thank you for showing that. Because of that, there are sometimes instances where there is trash that gets into the machine. But as you can see, as the counts on the bars go up. But what's more is, like, sometimes when you save the game and exit, a thing that a grabby arm is holding on to, if it's in the middle of picking it up and moving it to the side and then you save, I don't know if this is still a case, but you would come back and that item would be in the middle of that arm, and because of that, each of the main arms that actually feeds through the machine has a secondary arm pointed at it to feed it back into the system if that happens. So you can see here on the corner where you've got the ones that are this one here is feeding into the smelter and this one here is taking out of it. But then there's this arm just to the right of this that's pointed at this one, and this arm here pointed down at that one, just in case they get gummed up somehow. An added benefit to this particular system is you see that there's an arm facing this one. So I can put this tin in here, and then we can actually follow that tin all the way back. And we do want it to go all the way back, because the normal smelters are here. It gets fed back into the machine, and then there it goes. Now, because of this, sometimes, like you can see that the queue on the gems that are, or gems, metals, the queue inside is one behind. That's fine, because eventually multiple metals are going to stack on top of each other, and then, or like this, where there's just a gap in the metals. It finds a way to even out. Because of this, we have, you know, shit like this. Yeah, what's up, Etesian? Well, look, I tried to explain my automated system to other people, and they didn't quite get it. So I figured I would do that so I could highlight it later and be like, so here's what I was talking about. But how you doing, homie? I feel like we haven't been talking a lot lately, and that sucks. We need to fix that. Do not feel forgotten, because that's definitely not the case. Yeah, that's fair. See, when you wake up early, I have to be keeping late nights for our schedules to sync up relatively nicely. And these days, I'm actually falling asleep at almost human hours, so that's weird. How very weird. That never happens. Oh no, I stepped in the goo. For sure. Brief aside, Viv hates the walls in these hives because they, you know, wiggle. I told her that one day we would load up the game together and I would have replaced all the walls on our base with hive walls. And then she threatened to harm me, which is fair. I do deserve it. Yeah, I think it's literally called larva hive wall, yeah. Description, a lumpy moving wall section? Anyways, I'm specifically here to fight a boss. I'm not really here to explore hive. I think it's a bit loud on my end, so I'm going to turn that down a bit. So, this is the boss, and it doesn't react until you harm it. Anyways, now that this step is done, as soon as I find it, there it is. I don't need this. It's one of the few things I'm actually not going to keep any spares of. Far out to the Great Wall. Okay, so where was the stone wall that I did run into? Right here, but that's like within a clay area, so that's strange. So right now the only thing I'm really looking for is, like, I need the stone biome because two of the things I'm looking for right now, the amber and the clear gemstone, they're both in the stone biome. How been? Mild unserious health issues that have kept me from streaming because they were causing frequent need to use the bathroom, and honestly, if that issue were currently persisting, then I would have had to excuse myself at least 3 times by now. Nothing serious, but god damn was it frustrating. Bug. Gib. But yeah, that's why I hadn't been streaming at all, because, you know, doesn't really work. I think it was because I was, like, lacking in certain nutrients, because I had taken to eating a specific thing that's very homogeneous in ingredients, i.e. Hawaiian bread with Hawaiian ham. That's it. That's all it was. And I was eating just that a lot, so I imagine there's a pretty good spread of nutrients just not represented. Oh, speaking of, I also considered potential kidney issues, and as a result, I had no idea the Strolly-Pollies were here. Because sometimes I have kidney issues. So, and I had always heard that cranberry juice helps with that, so now we have cranberry juice. Don't know if that shit is a myth or not, but either way it gives us something else to drink that we don't normally have, so I don't really mind either way. Yo, controller, what in the hell happened down here? Okay. By the way, I'm a rude dude, so get murdered, Strolly-Polly. I don't need that. Anyway, so what I'm looking for... So, well, a couple of things I'm looking for are in the stone biome. And there's not really a great way to find any of it, so I'm just gonna have to dig. Yeah, like I said, I have considered already the possibility that it's, you know, mythological, but it doesn't matter. It can help, it can not help, it's not a big deal either way. Because, like, right now, everything seems to be fine. And maybe that's just the vitamins I've been taking, or maybe whatever it was has nothing to do with anything that I thought of, and it's merely passed already. Who knows? Speaking of, let me get some of that. And throw this out. By the way, when I put down my controller, apologies if it made a horrible, horrible loud sound on the microphone. No loud sound? Cool. But yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Like, there are certain ailments that I have had more than anybody really should. One of those is food poisoning. I have experienced food poisoning kind of a lot. I don't know why. Maybe I just have like the worst luck ever. I'm not really sure. But one thing I can say is that it hasn't happened since I left Texas. So there's a possibility there that that's relevant somehow. Not sure. But another thing that I have semi-frequently is kidney issues. I say semi-frequently. I don't remember how long it's been since the last time. It's been a while. Rude buzzing sound. Here I am looking for them and walk right past them. So how have you been? I hope things have been going well. Damn it. Okay, I actually need to redesign this wall because we're adding another box. That's not correct. Right, this is the box of things we've already made. And here's the box of boxes. Yo, do me a quick favor and stop being sick, god damn it. You're not allowed. I'm putting my foot down, mister. Probably did that a bit preemptively, but whatever. That sucks. It really is shit when you're just like constantly getting tired throughout the day. I've done that dance. It's a bad dance. Because, like, it's impossible to maintain a sleep schedule worth having. I say as though you're not already well aware. Dude, like, I wish that my problem was too easy to fall asleep, because I almost always, like, I mean, I wish I had that more often than the alternative, because I'm almost never actually able to sleep when I need to. I did not want this at all. Get out of here. God damn it. I did not want this either. Get out of here. Oh, whoops. All of the inventory management takes forever because our base is super spread out, but the alternative would be for the base to not at all be organized. And I don't like that idea. You know what's funny? Like a fucking lifetime ago, when I still lived with my family, well, quote-unquote family, you know what I mean, my blood relatives. When my grandmother and quote-unquote mother would put on like a baseball, I would watch that shit with them even though I don't really care about baseball. But that was always like a really, really effective sleep aid for me. Like, yeah, fuck, dude, put on the Texas Rangers. Next thing I know, I'm fucking out. I mean, if it was something I wanted to track numbers about, then I would understand your point of view there, but I don't give a shit about that. Why would I track numbers in that? That's not Stardew Valley. I do have an IRL friend who is sadly still back in Texas. He's in the Discord known as CDV, and he's a lot more into that shit. Like, to the point to where when he goes to a sporting event, he brings a score sheet so that he can, like, mark, like, balls and strikes and shit. Side note, the only time that we've ever, like, gone to a sporting event in person, the team we wanted to win lost horribly. So, we're not allowed anymore. So, like, the first Texas Rangers game I ever went to, we were versus the Angels, and I don't remember which, like, something or other Angels. I don't know. Let's say LA. That's probably wrong. I don't really care. But it was a total fucking blowout, 1-16. And, like, goddamn, that is brutal. Are we talking about the bad news bears? Because I had heard that they were bad news. I mean, I know about the Chicago Cubs. I don't know. Maybe the Bears are a different thing. By the way, these floaty blocks are new. I don't give a shit about that. Hey, I do give a shit about that, though. I don't know how I managed not to see those. I did briefly consider streaming God Hand. Aren't you glad it's this instead? I say that, but there's a fair chance that you're not paying attention either way. To the gameplay, at least. Wait, I am straight up digging into a biome I don't give a shit about. What am I doing? That's not fair. The last few times I played God Hand, I did not make anger noises, but that's probably because I was just practicing. Ooh, owl eggs. Look, only the most recent results matter. I mostly only get mad at God Hand when I'm speedrunning. When I'm not speedrunning, at most I just get mildly annoyed when I suck. Oh, I did buy 3 more new PS2 controllers because I have a sickness. Yeah. No, yeah, we're actually doing really good on money. We're looking at potentially renting a house instead of getting an apartment. Which, funny enough, doesn't depend on financials so much as it depends on the pros and cons of house versus apartment and the areas in which they are available. You know what's funny, though? Aside from, like, restaurants and fast food, we don't really splurge all that much right now. We mostly just kind of hang out at home. Like, most of the things that I want to do at most cost the price of a day pass for the public transit. Like, aside from that, I'm mostly just hanging out at home, eating groceries. Or Hawaiian ham sandwiches, apparently. It's really weird how we handle finances sometimes, because there's times where, like, you're, like, chomping at the bit, like, I finally have money, I can buy that video game I wanted to get, yay! Whereas, like, we've both wanted to play Subnautica Below Zero for a really fucking long time, but I'm not even like, I think that we finally bought it the other day because it was like half off or some shit. But it's weird how, like, even when we have money lately, we really don't bother to spend it much. As a result, like, check this shit out. So when early in our relationship, we had a job struggle where we both ended up unemployed from Amazon pretty quickly back to back. Like, I got fired for some stupid bullshit that really had nothing to do with me. And then she was, like, starting to have panic attacks because it's Amazon, and working at Amazon is worthy of panic attacks. So I was let go, and then she essentially quit by not going in anymore. And we were reliant on her credit card for a decently long time. See, since she's, like, ex-military, she had, like, a really buff credit card that had, like, a limit of, like, I don't know, $13,000 on it. But here's the thing, like, because of that period of not having any work, we were relying entirely upon her credit card for a while, and that led to, like, once we had work, like, her monthly credit card minimum was, like, $280 that we had to pay into. And when you only pay the minimum, you don't actually make any work against the actual principal amount. In other words, you're only paying out the interest. And, fast forward to now, we're doing good enough on money that about a month ago, well, yeah, the last month payment, we didn't pay the minimum. We put $3,000 on that bitch. And now we're sitting at like $1,800 in savings that is almost certainly also going to get put on the credit card, because once that like monthly minimum goes away entirely, it's going to be very, very easy, like a lot easier to breathe. And like the total owed on it was, like I said, it was like in the 13,000 range. Now it's less than 10. So that's always something nice. It's like you can look at that number and be like, ah, this is way less fucking stressful. But yeah, it's very, very, very nice to, at the very least, be at a point where we no longer have to borrow money from friends to make shit work. But honestly, that wasn't even because we handled our money poorly. It was because New Jersey fucked us, and moving is ridiculously expensive. I mean, even with all the money that we borrowed, because we borrowed some from you, we borrowed some from CDV, we borrowed some from Mediocrity Goggles, we borrowed some from Sid and Kid A, and everybody is paid back now. Everyone is 100% square. But, like, even with all of that, it was, like, 2 months before we were even able to have our shit shipped here. And that sucked, because goddamn it is boring to not have any of your stuff. Oh, dude. Okay, so you know that I bought the e-bike, right? So here lately, what I've been doing is I've been like bike riding to parks, right? Okay, no, yeah. So hold on, game. That is not correct. Okay, electric bike was $800 plus tax. The shipping was free, thank fuck, because it's like 43 pounds and the box was massive. But yeah, electric bike, 40 miles or so maximum range, goes up to 28 miles an hour. I never, ever go 28 miles an hour on it because I like not becoming road rash. But very, very, very nice piece. And so what I've been doing with it is, like, I'll bike ride to nearby parks because, good lord, Washington has a shit ton of nearby parks. But at first I was just like, oh, this park is nearby, I'll go bike riding to it. But here lately what I've been doing is, like, I'll plot, like, a line of different parks. Like, I'll go, you know, to this park, then that one, then this one, then this one, then this one, until I'm just fucking sick of it. All in one big outing. Well, one day I end up going to... I don't remember the name of the park before or after this one, but I go to a park, and then I go to another park nearby called Glyph Park, and then I go to another one after that. The reason that this is, like, relevant is because from the first park to Glyph Park, I got onto something called Sammamish River Trail. And apparently, Sammamish River Trail, like, it feeds onto another park called Burke-Gilman Trail. Now, just those two trails together, that's 22 fucking miles of bike trail. Which is awesome. So, here lately I've taken to just, like, jumping on... Like, North Creek Trail is, like, just north of me. And then I'll just hop onto that, take that to Sammamish River Trail, and then take that to Burke-Gilman Trail, and then ride all the fucking way around Seattle. The other day I did a 44-kilometer bike ride. I was out for, like, I don't know, 3 hours, and I loved it. Also, funny enough, Burke-Gilman Trail eventually goes past the University of Washington. And at that point, if I decide to abandon Burke-Gilman and go south a bit, then I'll reach 520 Trail, which is a trail that goes across 5.7 miles of bridge. That is just a staggering view of the water. So, an electric bike, it has what's called pedal assist, where basically it will provide a minimum amount of acceleration so that you're still pedaling, but it's giving you some assistance with the base acceleration. So the idea is that 520 is the name of the highway it goes across. Or, well, the name, it's the number. It's the highway number. But anyway, so basically, like, in pedal assist 1, it goes up to, I think, 8 miles an hour, which is very, very slow. At pedal assist 2, it goes up to 11. At 3, it goes up to, like, 15. And the idea of it is that it provides the acceleration to get up to that speed, but at that speed, you're typically able to pedal enough to maintain it rather than rely on acceleration the entire time. And it's really, really, really nice. It very much helps with going uphill, even though going uphill definitely chews its battery life up pretty quickly. And this area is extremely bike-friendly, so it's definitely a wonderful thing to invest in. One of my biggest complaints, though, is that, like, originally I wanted it to get to and from our preferred grocery store, Winco. Well, unfortunately, Winco, like, the position of Winco is so shit. It's not near any, like, particularly good bike trails. It's near one called Interurban Trail, but it's not particularly convenient for me to reach that specific trail. And unfortunately, no matter which direction I try to approach it from, there is a major hill on the route somewhere. And that sucks. Because that was, like, the original reason I wanted the e-bike, was specifically so I could reach Winco easily. Yeah, we could do that. It is done.
That'll be a lot more convenient than typing all the time. And might even keep me awake more.
But typing is so fun. But yeah, trails. Winco's location sucks. The end.
Understandable. I'm semi-lucky with the fact that convenience stores I use are reasonably nearby.
See, I mean, that's the thing. We have convenience stores nearby, but here at a convenience store, if I wanted to get a gallon of milk, for instance, it would be like 4 times more expensive than it would be at any typical grocery store. And on top of that, the nearest grocery stores here are Albertsons and Kroger.
I can't hear you in the call.
Wait, what? Oh, heck. Hold on.
Yeah, I can only hear you by keeping the stream on my phone.
I'm an idiot. Okay.
There we go.
So yeah. So yeah, we have convenience stores nearby, but they're a lot more expensive than any typical grocery store is. And the nearest grocery store options that we have are Kroger and Albertsons. And to describe those companies as wallet rapists does not even vaguely come close enough to how expensive they are.
Over here, most places are about the same, albeit we don't do chains nearly as much as you people do. I mean, we definitely have some that are countrywide, but my country is maybe a third of the size of any of your states, so, you know. But I have noticed fluctuations with some things, for example, cans of tomatoes. There are some places that charge 3 times as much as others, I have no idea why. So that's something, for example, I specifically get in Lidl and not other places. Maybe if it's on a discount at the store that I live literally right next to, because I live next to it and I can't be bothered to walk Lidl, but otherwise not.
So yeah, there are some places in the U.S. that have Lidl, but it's not here. Sadly, Aldi and Lidl are both not in Washington.
Oh, it took me a second to understand which store you're referring to. You basically said little, and I was wondering, little what?
You literally just said little.
Lidl. Well, it's a German place, so maybe I pronounce it a bit weirdly, but... no.
I don't know how it's supposed to be pronounced. It's a goofy word. But yeah,
yeah, you get the point. That and the only other thing that really stands out is tofu, which is also something at the Lidl because they price it reasonably, about the 200 grams, 120 dinars, so that's fine. And then the only other reasonable alternative is a place that's just called Healthy Foods, and they charge basically 50% more, if not more than that, for essentially the same product. I've experimented with both, and no, there isn't a difference at all. Oh, there is one difference in that they claim to have a much shorter shelf life. So they're less convenient and they cost more. Thanks.
That's that premium that you pay for it being super fresh.
It's tofu. It doesn't have to be fresh. I can keep it in the fridge for a month and not notice a difference once I actually start cooking with it. It's fine. It's curd.
I have not tofu'd very much. The only tofu I've ever had was in dishes already prepared.
It's still... I'm not gonna be telling you anything you don't know. Basically use it in recipes where the sauce is the main thing, so you can soak that up, because it's pretty flavorless on its own. It sort of has a flavor, but nothing to write home about.
Yeah.
Its absorption qualities are more what you want, and For me in particular, it's a decent filler in dishes where I don't really want to do meat because I do have to do meatless days.
How often do you have to do meatless days, by the way?
Be real with you, I don't know. It's supposed to be 3 days a week, but I don't really keep track. I just sort of go off at like, okay, I cooked something, it's gonna last me 3 days, it has meat in it, okay, maybe the next meal isn't gonna have any, or maybe I'm not gonna cook and just do simple things like oatmeal or whatever, just have a lazy day, something like that.
Hmm.
So, average 3 days a week, I guess.
Fair enough, fair enough.
I guess it would be optimal if I could go vegetarian entirely. Well, not vegetarian, because those people love beans and I'm banned from beans. But that's not really feasible around here simply because if I went to my hometown, I would not be able to find tofu anywhere, except for the Lidl they opened there, maybe. That's saying enough about the options there. And things like beans, a lot of the non-meat eater staples are not something I can really mess with, so.
Yeah, and I mean, like, going full vegetarian isn't exactly like, I mean, the myth that it's healthier is exactly that. It's a myth because, like, there's certain types of proteins that are only found in certain types of things, and there are similar proteins found in vegetation, but they're not the same.
Yeah, that's something I've sort of thought about, and when it comes to general healthiness of food, and I think I've decided I don't care about general healthiness of food. Getting stuff takes priority, and then anything else is secondary if I can do something about that need. Otherwise, yeah.
Yeah. I don't really think about, like, the spread of, like, nutritions that I'm getting until a problem begins. Like frequent urination, yay!
Yeah, no, I have a bit of a buff in that I do like fruits and vegetables, and I do cook for myself 99% of the time nowadays. Well, except for this month, I slacked a little bit because of, ER and stuff like that. But I think I'm passively being healthy enough that I don't really need to worry about it, so I'm not worrying about it. Could lose a bit of weight, I'm not gaining weight though, so it's fine.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest reasons that I don't cook for myself as often as I should, and I do acknowledge that I should be cooking for myself a lot more often than I currently do, but the biggest problem here is that our kitchen is the size of a pinky. And, like, the cooking part is not the bad part. I mean, like, yes, not having enough space really to comfortably prep a bunch of things is problematic, but the big problem for me is, like, there's no space to wash dishes. So, like, my brain is like, but after this I'm gonna have to wash dishes, and there's no space to do that.
Yeah, I get that. I currently have an okay apartment kitchen, but it would not be usable if we didn't get a proper big shelf to place here. Just if I had to keep that microwave on the kitchen surface and spices and everything like that, it would not be useful at all.
Yeah.
My brother moved out, so I moved into the room that's connected to the kitchen, so without the shelf, I guess I could turn the other room into a storage and constantly walk back and forth for spices and stuff, but that's no way to live.
What walking madness? Who does that?
More the constant back and forth would be annoying. But I do need to work a little bit in this kitchen. If nothing else, I'm looking at getting another electric stovetop next month because only working with one is really annoying. Especially because I make either pasta or rice all the time, and just setting a pot of pasta there almost adds basically another third onto the cooking time I need. Instead of being done in 40 minutes, it has to be an hour.
Well, I did recommend a rice cooker and even offered to buy you one.
Nah, honestly, I looked at options, and for the price of a rice cooker, I could add on just like maybe $10 and get an electric stove top, and that's way more versatile. So that just makes more sense to me.
Fair enough.
It's just that money's going to be a little bit tight this month, or not tight, just let's not spend on things that aren't urgent. So I'm gonna probably do that next month.
We made the mistake of buying, I say a mistake, I don't know, the rice cooker is fine, but we bought it from Temu, which is this like online shopping thing where the prices are like ludicrously low, but the rice cooker is literally the most competent thing we got from it, and it's okay, I guess.
I mean, it's a rice cooker. I can't imagine there being a range for quality there. Like, it does the job where it doesn't.
Oh, there
What's
is a
that?
range of
That's right.
quality. So, so there's the really good brand of rice cooker here. I say here, it's apparently the really good brand in Japan as well. It's called Zoji Rushi. And if you want a Zoji Rushi, you're looking at dropping at least $200. And the reason that it matters is because it has a really, 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 really accurate sensor for how much weight is in the unit, because that's how it determines whether or not the rice is done. And the Zoji Rushi does like a calculation at the beginning of how much content is water and how much is rice, and then it figures up what the weight of the total package will be once the rice is done, because as the water cooks away, the weight drops. And that sensor is more expensive. Like, notably more so. So that's why.
That makes sense.
The one that we have right now, I think, is based on a timer. Which kind of sucks, but eh. When we were in New Jersey, we were trying to find all of these like hackneyed alternate ways to cook things, and one of the things that we were trying to do was we were trying to use our rice cooker to make grilled cheese. So you had like butter the outside of 2 pieces of bread, put a piece of cheese in between, and then just grill top the outside. The problem with that rice cooker is that in order for it to maintain, like, for the unit to be on and producing heat, there needs to be enough weight holding it down, and we never did really find a great way to do that.
That makes sense.
Man, thinking back on the ways that we had to cook things in New Jersey, ugh. Like, we could make really good ramen bowls, but the entire cooking process took place in a coffee pot.
No wonder you're not cooking much nowadays. You're still mentally recovering.
Yeah, we were looking at a house in Seattle for $1,500 a month, which is pretty good, especially considering it's like 1,100 square feet. What we're in right now is under 300, so certainly a big change. But like, at a house, there are more expenses than you would have at an apartment. So, I don't know, I'm gonna have to, like, work up what the actual fiscals of the situation are before I commit to anything.
Yeah, that will be the question. Miscellaneous costs and all that.
Oh, another thing I forgot to mention is that 520 trail drops off, like it ends right, like, down the street from where Viv works. So I just popped in over there and we had lunch together at a Vietnamese restaurant called Pho Ever.
Oh, that's nice.
It was very tasty.
I should look into Vietnamese cooking. You just mentioned a Vietnamese restaurant, and I have no idea what that entails. I should probably look into that direction. Indian food has been really good for me, so that could be a direction.
So Vietnamese cooking, from what I understand, is relatively complicated, but apparently, like, everything that the Vietnamese do are fucking delicious. One of Jaume's videos, when he had learned Vietnamese, he was going around doing his usual thing of using the language to order things at restaurants. And every time that he turned around and got something, he was like, this is so fucking amazing. Why is everything the Vietnamese make so delicious? And, like, I can concur. Any Vietnamese coffee that I've had, amazing. Vietnamese fried rice, amazing. Vietnamese pho, amazing.
Yeah, fair enough. Maybe I'll get to that at a later point. I've definitely been a bit lazy this month when it comes to learning new recipes. I'm just leaning on stuff I already knew. Well, I was low energy in general. I didn't really want to try to experiment with something new and then mess it up and then not have anything.
Yeah.
Which has only happened twice so far, and based on that, I've decided that soups are not to be trusted. I can't do soups. I don't know why.
Well, like, cooking methodology, all, like, soups are very different. They vary wildly. It's like, what kind of soups did you try?
One of them was more of a chowder, some kind of local version. The other was solyanka, Russian salty. Yeah, some kind of Russian salty. What's the word? I'm going to Google Translate. 1 second.
Right, I was about to say, like, these don't sound familiar at all. Like, I think the only...
sour soup. For some reason, sour was the word I was forgetting. But yeah,
sour.
solyanka is a Russian version, and a chowder, just a local Serbian chowder, nothing fancy. Well, that one only went bad because I tried to do celery, which I'm told some people like putting into it, and turns out I don't like celery.
Yeah, celery, if it's cooked enough in a broth, it gets to the point to where the celery just has the flavor of the broth. But it itself is basically just crunchy water.
Oh, it has a bit of flavor. Wait. God damn it, it's celery I'm thinking of. Google Translating again. 1 second. Okay, this was celery, but the root specifically, rather than just...
Yeah.
Yeah, and this chowder was sort of Swedish, so sweet-ish, not from Sweden. I don't know why I mispronounced that. And it just wound up being a very strange flavor combination that I just didn't want to do anything with, and all the ingredients were super cheap, so I just dumped it. I'll still do a grudge match with that, but basically next time I just won't use celery.
Yeah, the chili that I make, there's like the recipe that I originally started with, that I ended up altering the hell out of, started off with coriander seed, which is, I don't know, to me it kind of tastes like stale lemonade. I don't care for that shit at all.
I could see that, yeah. It depends on what you're doing with it, I guess, but yeah, I generally prefer coriander to be ground as a spice rather than trying anything else with it. It's like people who put raw cardamom into dishes. If it works for you, cool, but not really for me. Also, it's incredibly annoying to find. By the way, if you're wondering why I kept needing to Google Translate food terms here, yeah, that's definitely another facet of the fact that I learned in Serbian, and sure, I use English recipes a lot, but I'm also very tired right now. The translation engine isn't working right.
Fair enough. I mean, as complicated as it is to hold multiple languages in one head, but then you get into something really specific like food dishes.
Yeah, pretty much. If I wanted to explain that chowder recipe to you, I had to stop and remember that the word for that is chowder, simply because we here call it chorba, and I've never had to call it anything else but chorba.
I've been dabbling in Cook Serve Delicious too, which overall IMO is easier than the first, but not really the point. The point that I was getting at is that it, instead of having food upgrades where the foods you already have become more complicated, it instead just has a fucking massive number of different foods. And I'm certain that the idea of it is for you to get crossed up between what the buttons are for one food versus the other. But one of them is like an octopus dish that I'm quite certain is Japanese, but I couldn't even begin to attempt to pronounce it at you. Here, hold on. I wanna look this up real quick. Cook Serve Delicious to octopus. Okay. I'm gonna just copy paste this at you so you can see this word salad.
Oh, we're sitting here staring at the Twitch chat like, where is he? That's probably not Japanese. That's not how Japanese text really works, especially with the H's there.
Apparently it's Greek.
That makes a lot more sense. Tapoti. Yeah, that's linguistically close enough to some kind. I could see that being their wording for squid there.
At any rate, like, when I first saw that, I was like, oh god, this is probably going to be really, really complicated. But funny enough, most of the dishes in Cook Serve Delicious 2, you can, like, boil down to a hand motion rather than remembering anything about what the letters are supposed to represent. It's like, most dishes in the game I have just being LKJ, so, like, I'll select the dish when it pops up, and I'll roll the first 3 fingers on my right hand's done.
That could be alright based on the fact you said they have a million dishes.
Yeah.
It also seems like it could be lacking long-term play potential. Like, is the game gonna keep you there if it's that simple?
So, the longer that you go without making a mistake, the faster it becomes. And so far it gets really, really fast.
Oh, that's a good way to handle the problem simplicity could introduce otherwise.
Plus there's some dishes like ramen. Ramen is legitimately like super fucking complicated and it cannot be boiled down to a simple hand motion at all.
That's alright then. Just based on having a lot of new dishes rather than making the old ones more complicated, that already sounds a lot more interesting to watch, but I'm also not sitting here with bated breath like, oh man, where are you gonna stream that? I've seen enough of one to where I know I'm gonna watch a stream or two of two and that'll do me. But it could be interesting to have a look. I know that people really like that series, so... Well, maybe they only started with 2 and 3, but 1 seemed just basic enough that it didn't really It seems like a game to turn your brain off to and push buttons, and that's just not my thing.
Yeah, it's a typing game, more or less. 2 definitely has a lot more, like, time management shit going on, because, it has, like, it calls them holding stations, but really they're prep stations where, like, there's certain dishes that you can't serve at all unless you have it prepped, and when you prep it, you have, let's say, 8 of them, and then the next 8 people that come in to order it, you just hand it out to them. But, like, that can get kind of messy, because if you run out right when there's a rush on that item, then everybody has to wait for it to cook while their patience is going away. And another thing, like, you can make side dishes on the holding stations that are just freebies that go along with orders that go out, but that's the only way to increase the patience of the customers, is to have one of those cooked.
Not sure I'm into that. The holding area situation rather than having to make everything on the spot. Do you have proper means to predict what's gonna be an item of high demand?
Nope.
Oh, so it's really just make things in advance and hope people want that. Or
Well,
really just, you have X number of items, make one of each, or something.
well, right, no, yeah, like typically what you would want to do is you would want to make each of the things that you need, and once they start getting ordered, you would make a spare of that to back that one up. There's no penalty for making something that ends up not getting ordered, even though that's absolutely not how it would actually work, but whatever.
That's your dinner after you're done working.
I'd say it's interesting, because in some ways the second game is easier than the first, but in some ways it's definitely not.
I'm sorry, I accidentally looked at the game for a second. Are you catching pest bugs?
Yep.
Why is the game specifying pest bug? It's a bug.
Because there's other bugs that I can catch.
What kind of bug isn't a pest? Bees, I guess. Do you get bees in this game?
No, but there are butterflies, there's scorpions, there's centipedes, there's crabs, there's earthworms, there's glow
I'm sorry,
bugs.
you just said the word pest 10 times. I didn't hear a difference.
But a pest bug is literally a cockroach.
I'm liking this game less and less as time goes by. I'm almost missing the wiggle walls.
I'll let Berkeley know that you said that, and I'll be like, look, I have to build a house out of the wiggle walls now, and she'll get sad.
That sounds like editorialization, and I will not stand for this.
Yeah, I thought I saw a bug. Anyways, I catch the bugs because I have some cattle at home that just eats bugs. Specifically small insects, so no crabs, no glow bugs, even though I'm pretty sure those still are insects. And no worms. The picky bastards. It's these guys. But I don't need that one, so he's dead.
Did you just suggest crabs count as a bug?
So they are actually.
We talking in-game or
Like real life, yeah, they're bugs.
maybe taxonomically, but anything that would want to eat bugs wouldn't want to deal with a crab's shell. I don't really see an overlap in that sense.
Look, man, I'm not the scientist that's out there naming shit.
Taxonomists are not to be trusted. I thought we went over this last time I mentioned that strawberries are technically a type of nut.
Yeah. and my refusal to call tomato a fruit.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And how that more or less just serves to prove the fact that our ability to categorize things is shit.
It's one of those things where there can be a where you can categorize things based on a couple different criteria, and it's not often the actually useful one, so it's not of any relevance. So why have you been digging for the past hour and 40 minutes?
So, there are two items in the stone biome that I'm looking for. One is a large amber. When eaten, it gives you a permanent buff of plus 50 max HP. Viv got hers on our main map, and I never did. And the other thing that I need in the stone biome is I'm going to need to find a maze made out of obsidian walls, which will contain an item called the clear gemstone. And that is required to make the rune song, which is this sword right here. But only one of those appears on a map, and that means Viv does not have her legendary swords, so... So I'm here looking for it. Oh wow. That's a lot of shit. I know I don't need use. Get out of here. You know what I realized the other day that we never ended up doing? We never watched the video with Viv about the Disney theme.
Oh yeah, I think I mentioned it, but I'm generally free whenever, so I was just kind of waiting for you two to be in the mood for it. Didn't want to seem like I'm pestering or whatever. And I did also forget it as well. I mean, I have it, we can do that whenever, but I figured you two are busier and time zones would get in the way of that, so you just tell me when you could and we can get something going.
Yeah. I imagine what we'll do one day is we'll do that, and then Viv and I'll probably stream some Tattletales.
Yeah, that could be good.
Which I probably won't do on YouTube because I don't know if I'm going to get slapped around for using that content.
That sounds likely.
Why is that worth 5? That shouldn't be worth anything. Give me your ore, ho.
Don't talk to me like that. We're friends.
I mean, do you have any ore?
Not particularly.
Then are you sure
Nature
we're
in general
friends?
has been pretty mean over here.
Back to the diamond mines.
Yeah, thinking about it, it's been maybe 5 days where we've been in a loop here of until 2 p.m. it's warm and humid, and then from there on it just starts storming pretty consistently.
You know, here I noticed that for the most part, we don't actually get storms, we just get rain. And I don't.
I was gonna say same, but apparently a couple of telephone poles in my hometown got hit by lightning, so maybe not.
Like, I honestly wish that we got more proper storms. Like, not a lot, obviously, and I don't want them to be, like, big damaging storms, but give me a little bit of lightning, make shit interesting, bruh.
I don't really care about that, but it can be pretty nice out. Well, it can be nice to have your windows open during a storm, not necessarily be outside with the nice fresh air and all that. Except the past few days it's been too warm in the evening even for that. So, too bad. That and last time, and I think 2 days ago, in one day, through a barely open window with the shutters closed, I've had 3 different bees get into my room.
Bruh.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I need to hire a druid.
Do you not have, like, one of those mesh screens on your window to prevent unwanted
Not
intruders?
yet. Not yet. We are supposed to install that either next week or the one after. It's something we've been delaying forever, and well, the main thing is that we uninstalled on the terrace door rather than the window because the window in this room can't actually open. Or it theoretically could, but it's not really trustworthy, so it's just gonna stay closed.
Hmm.
So we're gonna get one of those fake doors for a terrace. You know, one of those that is a butt screen, but you can move it aside so you can actually use the terrace. Even though we don't really, I mostly just put laundry out to hang out there. Except I don't because it's been storming. It's only been a month since I have a decently nice view outside the window. Nothing really to report, like it's a parking lot, but beyond that, there's a bunch of trees. And it's only been a month since I saw someone's shirt on one of those trees. The example has been set. I don't feel a need to contest the nature.
Hmm. I here lately, whenever I see a house that has like a really kick-ass view of, I don't know, the water or an aerial shot of a big open field, I am. This is the kind of dumbass that I am. I always think I would set up my computer so that the webcam would be pointed over that amazing view, and I would just stream like that. You see how poisoned I am?
Any kind of sunny day, and that's done. Even if you don't have a screen that would mind glare, just you point the cam at the sun. Okay, what do you get?
Well, I mean, if your setup is facing north or south, then you're never gonna get a position where the sun is like beaming directly into the webcam.
Might depend on the time of day. I mean, well, we're on the northern hemisphere, so you should probably get some sun if it's pointed south.
At any rate, if I had like, and I mean, if I had a view that stellar, I probably would do this. If I had a more expensive webcam that's sort of like in the same league as my nice photography camera, then it would be less hindered by being exposed to the sun. Because I know what normally happens is if the background is really bright, then it doesn't matter how much light is on you. You're just like a weird blacked out silhouette.
Yeah.
Like the streamer is a yet unlocked character in a fighting game.
Yeah, no, it's kind of convenient. It's kind of alright that this flat is on the fourth floor of something, because that means I don't have to look at the terrible muddy parking lot out back. The view isn't anything special, just at the city, but there's a bunch of trees I can see from here, so it's nice to get a little bit of nature in the middle of the city.
Dude, there's nature all over this city.
I've seen, I'm jealous.
And like Sid was telling me the other day, he's like, man, you're getting really good at this photography thing, and it's like, I don't know if I'm actually getting, like, if I'm good at it, or if it's just the fact that there's nowhere I can go where there's not something worth taking a picture of.
You've definitely had some shots that were just the environment working for you.
To be fair, though, that really kick-ass shot with the bee in that plant, I don't know what kind of plant that was, but in that particular shot, that plant was just in a little wedge of dirt on the side of, like, a sidewalk. And I just stopped because the plant looked nice. And there just happened to be the bee there.
You could resend that to me later. I've got a guy who's really into plants. I could ask him what's up.
That particular photo is pinned.
Oh, alright. I'll be able to find it easily later. I'll probably get it that tomorrow, simply because the guy's from India, so it's almost midnight over there.
That's fair.
One of those 0.5 time zones, so it's 11:50 right now.
0.5 time zones.
At least it's not Nepal.
At least it's not one of those situations where the time of day is different based on your religion.
Yeah, I eventually got around to that video you sent me about programming and time zones and leap seconds. I don't envy that.
Yeah, the way that I do financial calculations on my spreadsheets, I actually take into account that leap years are a thing. So, in my calculations, a year is 365.25 days, because on a 4-year average, that's what it would be. And months, instead of like doing the typical, because like I don't know if this is normal anywhere else, but here, if you ask anyone how long are months and you don't specify a specific one, people just tout the average of 30. They'll just tell you 30. But on my financial calculations, I do 365.25 divided by 12.
I'd like to correct you there in that most sane people will round to 30, because if I asked someone the average how long a month takes and they told me 30 days and 5/12ths, I would try to slap them.
I'm not saying that I would tell somebody, oh, a month is 30.4, I don't remember the rest of the digits, days long. And, like, because, like, no, yeah, that's just gonna get you some raised eyebrows, and that's not gonna work. That's not gonna help anyone. But in terms of, like, my calculations, that's how I do it. But I'm not gonna fucking try to factor in leap seconds. That can suck a dick. That's not worth it.
Okay, that makes more sense. For a second, that sounded like you're one of those people who, if I asked you what the time is, you would say, oh, it's 12:22 and 59 seconds.
Negative.
Damn it. I thought it's a 9-hour difference. Hang on, it's noon, isn't it?
Yes, noon 23.
Oh, I thought you were saying negative as in, no, that's not the time here.
Oh, no, I'm saying negative as in I'm not gonna tell you that it's noon 23 and 18 seconds.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Because, I mean, like, that last bit of information would not in any way change your day. when does the bus get here? Oh, in 12 minutes and 18 seconds. They're not going to be like, oh man, if only it was 12 more seconds, we would get there in time. No one's going to say that.
Yeah, because it's a bus, it's gonna have up to 20 minutes of deviance.
Well, like, it's the same reason why I don't bother calculating leap seconds, because, like, that's gonna be 0.000000001% of the time calculated. It's not gonna change anything in a meaningful way.
I was gonna say, leap seconds shouldn't even be considered, so you don't need to justify that. But at the same time, I wouldn't even say leap years should be considered much. Have yourself a cheat day once every 4 years.
Right, but I mean, like, in terms of calculating how much something costs per day in the year, it makes sense for me because it's every 4 years, which it's still tiny, but it's big enough to change a whole digit in some cases, so... I don't know, I'm picky like that. I would rather include the information, because I have the ability to include the information.
Fair enough. I started keeping a spreadsheet of my own spending lately, except I didn't fill it for the month of May at all, because I had health stuff and knew I was starting to slack and do a bit more ordering food deliveries and like, which, you know, justified, but still isn't representative of my general spending. Didn't really feel the need to jot that down when that's a different circumstance from how things usually go, you know, health stuff.
Yeah.
I was more so interested in how much am I spending on cooking and things for the flat and all that, and that wasn't really in the equation in that period. Things are looking better now, of course, but I'm gonna start keeping tabs on it on the 25th of a month.
Yeah, the reason...
I started on the 5th, so may as well keep it from there.
Yeah, the reason I started was because I wanted to figure out, like, what, like, percentage of our money was getting spent on specific things. Because at the time we, like, you know, we were traveling around, and fast food and restaurants were really cutting us up. So I wanted to track how much of our money was going to certain sources, but I also wanted to track, like, pricing and see, like, how much is this thing here versus how much is it at other places. So I have a spreadsheet that's just we spent X amount at location, and that would fall under this category of expenses. And then I have another spreadsheet that's like an actual itemized spreadsheet of, like, you know, when we go grocery shopping, I'll go line by line on the receipt and like, we've spent this amount on that amount on this, and when we've bought a thing multiple times, it tells me what the average cost of that item is across all the places that we've purchased it, and what the price per ounce is.
Yeah, I thought about doing that myself, but most places here it's pretty easy to see general prices of stuff. Be it on a discount or not, I can just look it up easily enough so I don't need to think about where are 2 cans of tomatoes cheapest. I can just know and not think about it anymore. Well, that's also a fact, partially, that factors into the fact that only 2 supermarkets here are convenient to go to, so it's just those 2 and whatever convenience stores are on the way. I think the only categories I have are general food, I guess, and then apartment maintenance / bills, because I don't really eat out often enough for it to deserve its own category. I thought about making like a frivolities category for whenever I buy something sweet that I don't necessarily need, but that's also not frequent enough, so whatever. I was just interested in how much cooking in general runs me, and that's fine, it's its own thing. I wasn't really looking to draw any kind of conclusion out of it, is another thing.
One thing I was hoping to figure out was, like, because I drink sweet tea all the fucking time.
And was it so sweet?
This is unsweet. But, I wanted to figure out like how much is it costing us when I make when I make tea, how many servings of it do I get, and then how much does it cost on average per serving. And it turned out that like when I calculated it all out, a gallon of sweet tea only costs us like 63 cents. So totally worth it.
Whoa. What all do you put in that?
It's,
aside from a kilo of sugar.
It's just the sugar and the tea bags that it costs, really. I mean, there's probably like an entirely negligible cost on water, but a gallon of water really isn't that pricey here. Plus, we haven't during that time we've not been in a situation where we were paying our own water.
Wait a minute, how many tea bags per gallon do you put in?
So, the way that we do that is that there's these family packs that have 48 tea bags, and I use 2 tea bags per gallon.
How big are these tea bags? That's almost 1 per 2 liters. That's insane.
I mean, that's just how you Southern style sweet tea, man. I don't know what to tell you. Here, let me get you the exacts.
Because I'm thinking about it, and whenever I make tea here, it's 2 tea bags on half a liter, which is like 1/8 of a gallon.
Okay. Don't tell me out of stock. I'm not trying to buy it. I'm just trying to get an image of it. Son of a shit. So it's a 48 count tea bags, and the family size part does not refer to the tea bag. It refers to the count. And the full net weight is 12 ounces for the package. But like at the same time, you know, like I could just do 1 bag if I wanted less tea flavor and more sweet flavor, and some people do that. I am not one such person. I do like having enough tea flavor to discern that it tastes like tea. By the way, those those tea bags are really cheap, so it's definitely not the highest quality stuff.
Yeah, okay, I think I see the main difference in that. This is 48 of them for 340 grams. That's about 7 and a bit grams per tea bag. Tea bags here are about 2 grams of a thing. So that explains a lot.
I love how murderous my bun bun is.
Which Digimon is that?
Uh, I don't actually know what the individual pets are called by default. All I know is that it's supposed to be a rabbit.
It's there in your inventory. Maybe you can look at its stats that
Right,
way.
but I named it. Because I named it,
Yeah.
it's just called Bun Bun now. I know that the owl is called Owl Lux. I think
so we're not missing out.
we're not missing out on what?
An actually interesting name.
Oh, yeah, probably not. This thing is an overpowered mess, however. It definitely shouldn't be as strong as it is.
Question: when you pickaxe a wall and a chest comes out, and you pickaxe the chest, does that count as opening it and looting it?
No, so that was added somewhat recently in one of the updates, that when you uncover a wall, it has X% chance of becoming a locked chest. So instead of me looting it, it's just me picking it up because it's still locked.
Oh, okay. Here I was thinking you might be destroying the chest, as if this game was designed by someone who hates people who dig through walls, but that's what the video game is.
Ow. It's like I'm not even being involved in this shit, and Bun Bun's just going murder crazy. I love it. Uh-oh. I have to be able to pick up the tin. I know that I don't need that, so give me this. Yo, the
Alright, I
caveling.
think I'm gonna... Go on.
The caveling was sleeping in the sludge. I thought that was fun.
Relatable. I think I'm gonna go take a shower in an attempt to keep myself awake.
Sounds good.
And I think that's gonna be it for me from today.
Alright, dude. Take care. Oh, whoops. I do like that it remembers what armor set I was using when I was on this map last. Oh, whoops. I was... Well, hold on. Let's go try to deposit these seeds, and if it turns into something, it turns into something. Okay, apparently that box is full again. Sand. Dirt. We're gonna have so much stone. Oh, whoops, that's not correct. I love that I'm getting trophies out of that. Oh, whoops, that's not correct. I'm trying to interact with him. That sound is this thing spawning in, by the way. I could have sworn I just saw a worm going into... Okay, well, I guess not. I think, like, thankfully going in and out of the map repeatedly, it doesn't actually take that long for it to save because I'm not making a lot of changes. Hello, sir. So I'm actually going to avoid, let's go ahead and grab this and this. I'm going to avoid picking up the cave moss because I actually legitimately want as many enemies to spawn as possible. My reason for that is because I actually need lots and lots of these because I'm still trying to get a card from Malagaz, or whatever the hell his name is, the corrupted, the optional boss in the stone biome.